Hey everyone, Jeff here again, and today we're going to talk about Dirty Harry on 4K UHD. Now, I haven't been doing a ton of individual 4K reviews because, to be honest, I got kind of burnt out on that, right? I was watching movies for the 4K transfer instead of just enjoying movies. But when I watched Dirty Harry the other day in 4K, I knew I had to make a video about it because this is one of the better releases that I've ever seen on this format. Now, thinking about the movie itself for a second and a little bit of background, I've actually never seen Dirty Harry. This was my first time watching Dirty Harry. I obviously knew of it. I knew the history behind it. I knew Do You Feel Lucky? I knew all this stuff and I knew all that it inspired, but I never sat down and actually watched the movie. So to get to see it for the first time on 4K was a real treat. Now, the restoration was actually done at an 8K resolution. So they went back to the 35 millimeter original negative. They scanned that at 8K, and then that actually had to be downscaled to 4K. So it's super, super high quality, very crisp, very sharp. And it's also Panavision, it's Technicolor, it's everything you love about 1970s movies. And I swear the 1970s are becoming my favorite decade for film because of the great 4K releases that are out there and just the great movies that came out during that decade. There are so many examples. It's probably, in my opinion, the most influential decade of movies that maybe we've ever had. A lot of stuff from the 1970s, Dirty Harry, Jaws, Close Encounters, Star Wars, The Godfather. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of movies that have inspired the next 50, 60 years of cinema. So watching this in 4K for the first time was a treat because it looked incredible. The colors are great, super sharp. It's, not Dolby Vision, but the HDR is still really good. I mean, some of the scenes, specifically some of the rooftop sequences at the beginning, really blow you away with just how sharp and how beautiful those are. And then one of the places that you'll have to be careful with this movie, and if you've seen the movie, you probably know this, it gets very, very dark. There are scenes in this where it's literally pitch black. So I would definitely recommend watching this in a dark room. I think if you watch this in a brightly lit room or a living room, it's not going to have the same effect. You got to have the lights off. Ideally, you have an OLED TV or something that handles black levels really well. You're going to need that for this movie because it does get so dark at times. It's so bright and then it's so dark. You're outside and then you're at night. But a lot of the film takes place at night, and a lot of the major scenes Clint Eastwood when he's running from payphone to payphone, I mean, that's all at night. It's very dark. And if you don't have the right setup for this, you might not see the full benefit of the 4K and of this scan. So I would say make sure you're going in with a light controlled environment. You really want to watch this one in a place where you can shut those lights off and dive into the movie so you get the most out of it. Some of those scenes, they get a little fuzzy here and there because they are so dark. That's a source thing. That's just they shot with 1970s cameras in literally pitch black, no external lighting. Yeah, some of it's going to get a little fuzzy. That's the source, though. When you get full light and you see these scenes in person in 4K, when you get your hands on this one, you're going to be blown away. I mean, it definitely is on a contender for top 10 of the year, definitely a top 10 of the first half of this year. One of the better discs and better experiences I've had with 4K. On the audio side, this was remastered with Dolby Atmos, and it also includes the 2.0 original soundtrack. So you have a couple options. You can go original. Thank you to Warner Brothers for including that. I actually listened to both. I did the Atmos in my basement where I have the full Atmos setup, and then upstairs in the living room where I just have a stereo speaker set up with a couple of SVS wireless pros. That sounded better with the 2.0. Just the Atmos doesn't mix as well. So it kind of depends on your environment. I think if you're watching with a sound bar, or you're watching through a TV, or you just have a stereo setup, you're going to want that 2.0 track. You're not going to want it to try to mix the Atmos down. But if you do have a full setup, the Atmos is an experience, although I have read and heard from purists on this movie that that one's a little bit remixed and has some additional effects and some things that I guess fans of the film haven't enjoyed. So you have the option. You can get the fully remastered, which is a remix of the 5.1 track in Dolby Atmos, or luckily Warner Brothers has that original. It's a 2.0 Master HD. So both options are here, and that's a great thing. The packaging on this is a little basic. I kind of wish that instead of doing this kind of modern looking cover, they just went with I wish they would just go back to like theatrical poster art, really. Like, yeah, this looks modern and it looks new, but it doesn't really speak to me. It's not like a 1970s movie. This looks like something that came out in the 90s. So I wish they went theatrical artwork. Maybe there's reasons they can't. Like maybe they can't license that art for home entertainment. I don't know. But that would have been nice. It does have the slipcover. On the inside, you get the same artwork. And then this is just a 4K release. So you just have a 4K disc. You do get a digital code with this as well, which redeemed in 4K through Movies Anywhere. If you want special features, there's definitely special features on here. There's over 4 hours, including 2 documentaries. Those have been included on previous releases. There are a couple of new featurettes, one of which is called Generations in Dirty Harry, which I want to call out because my guys over at There Are Too Many Movies, the great podcast, I was on their podcast. They do an incredible job. They got interviewed for this. So they're actually in that featurette, which is really cool. It's a short feature. It's like 7 minutes long, but just talks about like the influence of Dirty Harry. And, you know, they're a younger generation. It talks to some older generations. It really is like Dirty Harry through the years and how it's influenced things. And there's also one on the cinematography of Dirty Harry. There's a couple like documentary retrospectives on Clint Eastwood in this film. It's pretty good. 4 hours of special features in 2025 for a physical media release. That's good stuff, and I'm glad to see they even added a few additional features. So overall, I would highly, highly recommend grabbing Dirty Harry. It's quintessential 1970s cinema. The movie's incredible. Clint Eastwood is great. You know, I thought the Scorpio killer in this movie was, you know, definitely an inspiration for a lot of other performances. And this is sort of one of the first, you know, like serial killer movies. This is in this era, especially in San Francisco, just a couple of years after the Zodiac murders and like right kind of in the middle of the Zodiac murders. And they're kind of playing on that. But you see the inspiration that this character has had, the Scorpio. You know, I saw Heath Ledger's Joker in him. I mentioned that in my Letterboxd review of the film. Like I can see the inspiration there, and there's a lot of things. You know, he hijacks the school bus, which is a little bit Joker-ish, and there's so many different influences in this movie, so many iconic lines. Like if you've never seen it like me, and you just kind of know it from the clips, it's important to go and watch this and put it all together because it's such a great movie. So if you want to grab this, there's a few places you can get it. You can go to the usuals, the Amazons, the Walmarts, Barnes & Noble should have it. It's also a studio distribution services title, so you'll be able to get it at groove.com. If you do go to groove.com and it's your first time there, you can get 20% off, so that might be a little extra incentive, and they always have free shipping, plus you're supporting directly Universal and Warner Brothers, so that's usually my favorite option these days. So that's it for the review. Hope this gave you some insight into Dirty Harry on 4K. You know, like I said, I won't be doing this for every movie I watch, but when I find one that really stands out to me, I will make an individual video like this, and I will still do them because I think it's important to highlight the best of the best. And so that's what you can expect from me. In collection updates, expect like, you know, mini 4K reviews. But when something like Dirty Harry really blows me away, I just have to come on and talk about it. So I hope you guys pick it up. I hope you have a chance to check it out. It is well worth your time if you've never seen it. And if you've only seen the Blu-ray, which is really good, or DVD or streaming versions of this, grab the 4K. It is quite the upgrade. Even as good as the Blu-ray was, it's hard to beat an 8K scan fully remastered. So I'd go grab it either way. So thanks for watching. That's it for this one. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. You can find me on Letterboxd. You can find me on literally every social media platform. And of course, right here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate that. Also, check out my website, jeffrauseo.com. That'll be linked below. It's a Substack blog, but I also send email newsletters and updates through there. So if you want all the latest on what's going on in my life with my book, new opportunities, whatever it may be, that's a great place to stay up to date. Plus, I've been writing new articles a couple times a week that I think you guys will really enjoy. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy out there, and I'll talk to you all soon.